Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the 1970 Coronet RT 440. Picked this car up a couple of years ago. I've moved it out of storage today in anticipation for working on it this winter. I figured take a quick look around, show you all the features about it and all of its flaws, and hopefully what we'll accomplish this winter, getting it back ready for the road next year. Come along. So on Labor Day weekend 2019, I picked this up out in Ohio. I had been surfing Facebook Marketplace one day during lunch, and this thing had just popped up. And quickly got on the phone, spoke to the owner at that time, and long story short, 2 days later, brought it home. Really unique car, a lot of original character, mostly original paint, but also definitely signs of, I'll say, use. Speaking to an owner who had the car from '83 until 2017, basically the way you see the car is the way he got it in '83. So in a lot of ways, this car is representative of what a muscle car looked like in the early '80s. A lot of times, for most of these cars, they were just used up, thrown away, and well, this one managed to survive, but it's certainly got a lot of wear and tear. Has a lot of typical V-body rust, certainly down in the quarter panels, all the way around. Again, not bad for a Northeast car, but certainly a fair amount. Rear window channel, naturally, being a vinyl top car, we could see bubbles in the vinyl. Driver's door was repainted at one time, and the passenger fender. Not exactly sure why. They seem to be the original components, and there doesn't seem to be any dents. So kind of strange as to why just those two particular panels got repaired or repainted. Lower valance, beat up as usual. It's not too bad overall, and hopefully during one of my future videos I will go over taking that apart, straightening that out as best as possible, and putting it back on the car. Had a lot of success doing that with one of my other cars, the 1970 F8 Green Super B, right here in the shop here. The interior, again, is completely original, what's left of it. Some of the items that are not shown I have. Original door panels in excellent shape. This is an AM 8-track car, 3-speaker dash, and the dash pad and the entire dash itself are absolutely beautiful. It's really surprising that they've managed to survive all these years in such good condition. Also, what was really neat, I guess at some point the original AM 8-track stopped working, so they retrofitted another AM FM 8-track. This is actually an 8-track radio. But instead of cutting up the dashboard and cutting up all the door panels, they just put it in underneath the dash. So whoever did that, I really appreciate it because it saved a lot of heartache. I will be removing the original AM 8-track, sending it out for full refurbishment and updating with Bluetooth and multi-channel multi-speakers. There's a service out in couple services out there. Ward's used to do it, but he has since passed on. There's another gentleman out in Arizona area or Nevada who does it, so I'll be sending it to him. The seats, the back seat is worn. There's a couple of seams are peeling, but it'll survive. The fronts, I really don't know what I'm going to do. The object here is not a full restoration. It is just to refurbish this. I'll say keep the patina, yeah, that's the craze and the cliche and everything else. But really to better the car, make it safe and roadworthy, and go out and drive it. Doors line up beautifully, front and rear. The chassis under this car is pretty good. The two areas that I will be addressing will be the trunk floor and the driver's side seat, driver's side floor pan, pardon me. Yeah, really trick trunk lock here. But the trunk pan is pretty much missing. You can see a patch panel that's screwed there, and that really extends all the way through the floor up to the tail on this side. The original trunk mat is still here, which is pretty surprising, and I'll clean it up and put it back into the car. But ultimately, I am going to repair the trunk pan. I don't know if I'm going to do a full replacement or if I'm going to try to section it. Once it gets into the shop and really tear into it, we'll figure out how we're going to approach it there. The trunk lid is extremely solid. It's hard to see. I haven't had, not having this trim piece off, but I've had this off, and the lip is beautiful. Very typical issue with Mopars, and being that we end up with a lot of one-year-only trunk lids, it's really a pain in the ass when these things are destroyed. And again, being an Ohio car for a lot of its life, it's surprising that this survives so well. Bumpers are straight, pretty good cores. I don't know if I'm going to re-chrome them or not. Again, doing a lot of detailing, a lot of cleaning on this car, but it's not going to get repainted or anything else like that. I'm just going to make it safe and roadworthy. The Kragers are cool. I love the look. However, these particular ones, I don't really like the offset. These, I think, probably came off of a Camaro or something. I have some other Kragers that I picked up, and I'm going to try those on and see how they look. On the passenger side, the RT scoop is missing. I have it. It was damaged. I've gotten another one, but I'm going to have to paint it to match. So that's going to be another little project along the way. Good example of how this car really is in person. All of this light little bits of rust that we see in the paint, that's pervasive everywhere in the car. I'm going to try some detailing tricks to remove that. There's been some videos on YouTube and stuff, but certain wheel cleaners have shown where they are safe for paint, but we can get the rust out of the paint and brighten things up. So I'm going to try that, and I'll document it in a future video. Wood grain wheel car. This car has a lot of options. Pedal dress up, power steering. It's a super Track Pak car. Not the original motor, but I have the original trans, which is fully rebuilt. I'll be putting that back in the car in one of the videos, and the original 410 Dana. Vintage gauges. I love these things. When I saw this car and I saw those in the picture, I was sold. Very old school, very authentic, and they will certainly be retained, although I'll probably clean them up and mount them a little bit better. So this is a Ram Charger car along with hood pins. The grills are okay. I have a much nicer set, which I'll be putting into the car just to make it a little bit better. These filler panels, fortunately, the passenger side survived. The driver's side is broken, and that always seems to be a trend, at least with the cars that I have. My F8B has the same type of scenario whereby the driver's side is broken. Perhaps it's from reaching in and trying to get the latch assembly, like I was just doing now, and in cold weather or something like that. These things can be extremely brittle. The bad thing is the reproductions don't fit worth a darn. So finding originals is the way to go. Anybody's got one, please hit me up. Again, I'm not looking to buy NOS, but something really nice to replace this would definitely be welcome. This engine is from a 1969 Coronet RT. It was put in probably around 1985. The car does not exist anymore. The motor was rebuilt at that time, and it runs really well, and completely stock and completely from that other car, from the oil pan to the manifolds to the intake and the air cleaner assembly. They basically just swapped the whole thing over, even swapping in the 69 radiator. This is not the correct radiator for this car. Car has the fender tag, and again, a lot of good options. SPD of 929. This happens to be the very same day as my F8 Super B that I purchased from the son of the original owner back in 2017. I'll be doing a separate video on that car at some time. All the Ram Charger ductwork is intact. Again, looking at the underside of this hood, we can see all of this surface rust. Basically, at some point, this car must have sat in a dirt floor, garage, or barn. Hate the term barn find, but anyway, this car certainly has all of the hallmarks of something like that. Again, all of this light surface rusting in the original paint. But overall, the car is extremely intact, and really looking forward to servicing it and getting it back out on the road, have a little bit of fun with it. This car, prior to being in Ohio, must have been in West Virginia. There's no dates or anything else. This is all that there is of this particular sticker, but at some point in its life was there. If anybody recognizes this car or knows anybody who might know something about it, I'd really appreciate it if you hit me up. I'm very big on tracing ownership history of cars, and for this particular one, again, I know the history from about 1983 through today. But finding an earlier trail on this vehicle would just be icing on the cake. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the interest, and we will talk at you soon. Take care.